All right, namaste everyone, and thank you for joining in. So this is the 8th class of the ongoing course on Vedic Astrology Foundations, basic course that is, and it is no coincidence that on the 8th class we'll be discussing the topic of marakas, okay, and how to how to calculate death for for a native, okay, because if you go to any Vedic astrology class, you have to know how to calculate your own death, okay. That is that is very, very important. All right, obviously it's only a possibility because an astrological chart is influenced by by many factors, okay. So as always, we'll just start the class with our daily prayer of the Shanti mantra that we do. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunakatu Saha Viryankarapavahai Tejasvinadadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so in the previous class we had discussed quite a few number of predictive principles, okay, and as we take a deep dive into into Vedic astrology, into the houses, into the planets and everything, we'll just try to apply everything that we have learned and put it together before reading a chart, okay. And before reading a chart, I'll just mention the conditions as to how to read a chart. That is also very, very important. It's not that you start from a particular point and then go all over the place in a random order. It does not happen that way, okay. It has to happen in a very orderly manner, so as to say. All right. Okay, so we come to the topic of marakas. The word maraka means the inflictor of death, okay. It means the death inflictor. And the marakas are the planets which are supposed to cause death, okay. So we know that there are two houses governing longevity, the 8th house and the 3rd house, okay. And we are also we are also well acquainted with the fact that the 12th from any house signifies loss of that house. Okay, so what happens is that if we apply the concept, the 12th house from the 8th house is the 7th house, and the 12th house from the 3rd house is the 2nd house, okay. So what happens is that the 2nd house and the 7th houses, they indicate the loss of longevity, which means death basically, okay. And these houses are known as the maraka houses, and the planets or the rulers of these houses, they are known as the markesh, okay. Now, the maraka houses are not only problematic concerning their rulers, okay. Not only the planets who own these houses are problematic, even planets who occupy these houses. That means if you have planets in the 2nd house, if you have planets in the in the 7th house, then also it is a problem, okay. Similarly, if you have planets associating with the with the 2nd lord or the 7th lord, then also these planets associating with these lords can cause problems, okay. And the problems may not always come in the form of death. It usually comes in the form of loss of health, okay. The problems caused by marakas are most often seen in matters of health, okay. They are they are not primarily concerned with death. That is calculated in a completely different way. I'll show you how. All right, but the problems from the marakas, or the problems associated with the problems from the planets associating with the marakas, they will come mostly from the point of view of health, okay. That means the health will take a real bad toll, if I could put it that way. All right, now if you look at the Kalpurush chart, then the 2nd house is ruled by Taurus, okay. The 7th house is the 2nd house is ruled by Venus, and the 7th house is also ruled by Venus, right? The 2nd house is Taurus and the 7th house is Libra, okay. So now look at the if you look at concept wise, Taurus is having the lordship of Venus, okay. but it also has the co-lordship of moon, because the moon gets exalted in Taurus, right? Similarly, if you look at Libra, it has the lordship of Venus, but it also has the co-lordship of Saturn, because Saturn gets exalted in Libra, right? So what happens is, there is a reason why these houses are ruled by Venus, because Venus rules the vitality in the body. Okay, Venus rules the vitality in the body, and anytime there is death, the body cannot collapse if there is no loss of vitality. Okay, for the males it rules the sperm, Venus rules the sperm, and for the females it rules the ovules. Okay, it rules the ovules. So vitality, the name of the Sanskrit word for vitality is ojas. Okay, the Sanskrit word for vitality is ojas. And every time there is a problem with this ojas, then the body suffers. Either it suffers in the form of death, or it suffers in the form of a disease that is very hard to cure. Okay. And then yeah, Udayji, you can ask a question.
My question is mainly regarding the fact that when you use the terms seventh lord, the house lord, and then I haven't seen you use the term Rashi lord, but I just wanted to
seventh lord is the Rashi lord. Seventh lord is the Rashi lord. Okay.
Okay, so when you say the seventh lord, the eighth lord, and the ninth lord, and so on, you're talking about the Rashi lord, right?
It's the Rashi lord.
So what's the difference between the house lord and the Rashi lord? Because
it's the same.
It seems that
it's the same.
Okay, so then
I'm just giving you an example. Suppose the fourth house is ruled by Cancer. Okay, then Moon becomes the house lord, because the Rashi lord of Cancer is Moon. So that is the way you look at it.
Okay, I see. So then whatever Rashi you have in the particular house, the lord corresponding to that Rashi becomes the lord of that house.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought when you say the house lord, you're talking about the default Rashis that sit in that house according to South Indian chart, the lords corresponding.
If I speak about the default lords, then I'll always use the term Kalpurush Kundali. Okay, that is the reason I'm saying that, when I'm using the word for Venus, when I'm explaining why Venus rules the primary Maraka houses, I'm using the term Kalpurush Kundali. Because only in the Kalpurush Kundali, Venus can rule the second house and the seventh house. Right. That means.
Okay, got it. So when you're talking about them as default Rashis, you use the Kalpurush term because his Rashis are always the default ones.
Yeah. The Kalpurush chart will always start from Aries. Sometimes you'll also find astrologers using the term KPC. It simply means Kalpurush chart. Okay, KPC.
Perfect. That clarifies a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, Ojas is the Venus represents Ojas in the body, and for death to occur, or for a disease to occur, the Ojas factor will take a hit. Okay, so that is the reason why in the Kalpurush chart, Venus is the death inflictor. That means the Maraka. Now look at the other secondary lords of Taurus and Libra. You see, as I said, Maraka might not only mean death, it can mean a death-like experience or a death-like pain. So you look at Moon, who rules the second house of Taurus, right? So what happens is the Moon is food. Okay, all sorts of food are represented by the Moon by default. Okay, any type of food, the Karaka for food is Moon. All right. So what happens is that, diseases, okay, as I had mentioned previously, planets enter our system through the food. Okay, so because planets enter our system through the food, diseases also enter our system through the food we eat. Okay, that is the reason the immortals, the people who are immortals, they don't eat food. Okay, they don't eat food. They just allow their body to photosynthesize. Okay, they allow their body to photosynthesize. That is the way how people become immortals. Okay.
Hi Devarshi. Good evening.
Good evening, Sagataba.
I'm very sorry I joined really very late. Could you just tell once more what did you say?
I was just speaking about the death houses. Okay, how the seventh house and the second house, they indicate the Maraka houses or the loss of longevity. That was the only thing. It's not exactly very late. We just started 5 minutes earlier. So not a problem at all. Okay. So what happens is the planets, as I said, the planets enter the system through food. Okay. And every time there is a problem with the planets, if there is a planet causing a problem, it will cause problem through its food that we are consuming. Okay, so that is the reason the moon also assumes the role of, the moon has the lordship of Taurus. Okay, and I had also said previously in the previous class that the sun and the moon, they will not kill because they are the universal parents. Okay, they are the universal father and universal mother, so they will not kill directly. All right. So what they will do is that they will delegate the responsibility of killing to another planet. And how to calculate that planet? It will happen for only two ascendants, the Sagittarius ascendant and the Capricorn ascendant. And how to calculate that? It was told in details in the last class. Okay, so just go through that video once again. And then you look at the seventh house. Apart from Venus, it also has the lordship of Saturn. Okay, so why Saturn? Because Saturn will give you pain through relationships. All right. And the most deadliest form of pain will always come in the form of relationships, right? Health issues, okay, it is dealable, right? I can deal with it. But when there is someone else causing the issue, then it becomes very very difficult to fix that person, isn't it? Right? You can still deal with the pain that is caused by yourself, but if someone else is coming and giving you pain, that becomes a problem. Okay, and so if your relationships are not good, okay, if your relationships are not good, then you will suffer pain from that as well. All right. And if anyone goes to an astrologer, the primary concern for majority of the people who visit astrologers would be because of relationships. Okay, because seventh house is the house of relationships. Seventh house is also the default seventh house is, yeah, default seventh house is also also Libra, where Saturn exalts. Okay, and Saturn, it's a malefic, so it will give you pain in the form of relationships. Okay, so Deji, what I was saying is in yoga, when people become immortal, okay, the end goal of yoga is immortality. No one told you that, but that is the end goal of yoga. Okay, the end goal of yoga is always immortality. So what I was saying is that, if someone has to live forever, if someone has to become immortal, the word for immortal in Sanskrit is Chiranjeevi. Okay, it is Chiranjeevi. So if a superstar in the south who is known as Chiranjeevi, of course, is not immortal. All right. But the word for for immortality is Chiranjeevi. There is a misconception that we have only 7 Chiranjeevis in Hindu religion, and that includes Hanuman as well. Okay, that includes Ashwatthama as well. But it's a myth. Okay, Chiranjeevis are everywhere. Okay, they might be walking around you and will not even know. Right? But then yeah, and then what happens is that if you if you have to become immortal, if you're practicing the yoga of immortality, okay, all the 6 schools of yoga, that we have in India, okay, that have originated from India, they teach the end goal of every school is immortality, right? And every time you're practicing immortality, at one point of time you have to give up food. Okay, you have to depend on the sun for food. All right, so you acquire capabilities where the body can just photosynthesize. Okay, just like the plants photosynthesize by taking energy from the sun, similarly the body can also photosynthesize. Okay, and then there is a school of yoga which is known as Giri Yoga. Okay, I'm initiated into Giri Yoga. All right, my Guruji is from the tradition of Giri Yoga. So you'll have people having their titles as Giri. Okay, of course they are not into Giri Yoga, but someone from their family must have been into Giri Yoga. That is the reason they have taken up the title of Giri. Okay, Giri means a mountain, right? And Giri Yoga, it actually comes from Parvati, all right, the mother herself, and it's the easiest and the most relaxing form of yoga, where you can just allow your desires to bring you everything. Okay, it is the easiest form of yoga. Why? Because all the other 5 schools, among the 6 schools of yoga, the other 5 schools were started by males, and we know how males behave. They like to, they are go-getters. They like to get things done, right? They like to get more done by more effort. But for a female, females are very very laid back in nature. They want to do as less as possible and get the maximum out of it. All right. So Giri Yoga was actually it was founded by Parvati, the spouse of Shiva, and she herself is an immortal. And what happens is that there are Giri yogis who live in the mountains, and when they are hungry, they'll just they'll just allow their pitta to come out of their body, and dig a hole in the snow. They'll dig up the snow and just put their foot in it, water it, and just remain there in the sun for say 15 to 20 minutes, and the body derives all the nutrition it can from the earth, just like the plants derive nutrition. So these are the ways of the immortals. Okay, there are many ways. Maybe we can have a discussion later on. All right. So anyways, we are concerned with the planets. So as I said, planets will enter your system through the food you eat, and it will always be problematic. Okay, if you don't know which food to avoid, I'll tell you which food to avoid in this class. Okay, there are certain foods that you must avoid. I'll tell you what. All right. So as I said, marakas may not only always mean death, it can also, just a minute. So marakas may not only, they will not exactly mean death, they will mean, death like experience or death like pain. All right. So what happens is that the dashas and antardashas of the second lord, the seventh lord, all right, the dashas and antardashas of the planets placed in the second house, the seventh house, or the dashas and antardashas of the planets that are associated with the second lord or the seventh lord, they are very significant in in causing pain, in causing disease. Okay, so it is very important to study a chart carefully and work out the span of life according to the standard principles of astrology. Okay, and to in astrology, the length of life is classified as it is classified as alpa-ayu. Alpa-ayu means alpa. It is a combination of two words. Alpa means small, and ayu means longevity. Okay. So alpa ayu means small life, which is a period of around 30 to 32 years. Then there is madhya ayu. Madhya means medium. Ayu again means longevity. It is a medium lifespan of around 64 years. Okay, and then there is purna ayu, which is long life. Okay, purna ayu. Purna means complete, and ayu, which is around 100 to 120 years. Okay, this is astrology. But then if you if you do yoga, if you do tantra, then you go beyond that, you become an immortal. Right. And unfortunately, immortality is not discussed in astrology because we have to operate according to the realms of of the boundaries that are there in the horoscope. But how to calculate the ayu? Okay, you look at the first lord, you look at the 8th lord, and you look at the 10th lord. So these are the three most important lords for calculating ayu, for calculating the short, for calculating the longevity or the span of life. Okay, so for someone to have a purna ayu, the first lord, the 8th lord, and the 10th lord should not be either debilitated or it should not be combust. Okay, getting my point? The first lord contributes 50% to the ayu, the 8th lord contributes 25%. Again, the the 10th lord, it again contributes 25%. Okay, why the first 8 and the 10th lord? Because the first lord is is how the discretion is keeping the body healthy. Okay, because it is about the mind, right? You cannot have a healthy body if your mind is ugly, right? You cannot have a healthy body if your mind is clouded with negative thoughts, if your discretion power is always if you have a pessimistic view of life. Okay, if you have a pessimistic view of everything. Then first lord in 8th, that is not the criteria, Twinkleji. Okay, I'll tell you how to look at it. All right, then you look at the 8th lord. Okay, the 8th lord of course is the lord of longevity, and then there comes the 10th lord. So the 10th lord, as I said, I always keep on stressing this point. The 10th lord is how you complete work, how you finish work. Okay, if your 10th lord is weak, you will be a very bad finisher. Okay, you may be a very good starter, but if your 10th lord is weak, if it is debilitated, will be very bad at finishing things. Okay, so the first lot, as I said, it contributes 50%. All right, contributes 50% to the longevity. So it should not be debiliated. It should not be combust. There are people whose first lord is combust. In that case, you know, you are actually losing a good amount of longevity. Okay, you have to do some external things to get back that longevity which God has not given it to you. Okay, it's not that, you know, it's not that everything is predestined. Okay, it is just a condition. Okay, the samskara is, you have a, you know, if the first lord is combust, you have a samskara of early death. All right, but it is very much possible to, you know, to reverse that. All right, yes, Shishaji, tell me.
So combust within how many degrees the planet?
Combust, there are certain standard degrees of combustion. I think I had discussed this. If not, I'll give you the degrees. Okay.
Okay.
Usually it is between 0 to 12 degrees of the sun, but there are various degrees because, you know, Mercury is always very close to the sun. So if it is, you know, if it is say around 1 to 2 degrees of the sun, it also gets combust in certain cases. I'll give you the degrees in maybe, you know, if I don't remember if I've discussed the degrees. If not, I will send the degrees in the group.
What did you just say, Devarshi, about also gets combust around 1 or 2 degrees?
Yeah, Mercury. I'm saying Mercury. Okay, Mercury gets combust. You know, if it comes very, very all the, you know, suppose the degree of Mercury, I think it's around 5 degrees. Okay, you know, within 5 degrees it gets combust. But sometimes you look at any, you know, what to say, Vedic astrology software, Mercury will be, you know, will be 1 to 2 degrees within the sun, but it will still not be getting combust. Okay.
Mercury, so combustion is 0 to 3 degrees is totally combust, 3 to 6 is generally combust, and 6 to 9 is seriously combust.
No, that is a general rule. Okay, every planets will have a
Generally.
yeah, generally. Yeah, that is generally. Okay. All right. There is a question. If you don't have a planet in a particular house, how that does affect the Lord? Well, Udayji, even if you don't have a planet in a particular house, the Lord of that house will be placed somewhere. Okay. You have given an example that you don't have any planets in the 10th house, but the 10th Lord will be placed somewhere, right? So you have to look at the condition where it is placed. Okay, I'm coming to that. So as I said, the first condition is that the first lord or the ascendant lord should not be combust. Okay. And if it is combust, then you are losing your longevity, which you have to increase by artificial means. Okay. 8th lord is the longevity itself. All right. It depends. If the 8th lord is badly placed, you will find it very, very difficult to wake up early morning. Okay. Try, you know, look at your own charts. If you find it very, very difficult to wake up early morning, your 8th lord is combust. Okay. Ideally, you would want the 8th lord to be with the sun, because what happens is that if the 8th lord is the sun, you don't suffer while you die. Okay. You know, if anyone has 8th lord with the sun, or if sun is aspecting the 8th lord, or if sun is the itself.
So sun is in the 8th lord.
Yeah, if the sun is the 8th lord itself, you don't suffer much while dying. Okay. You'll just,
no, sun being the 11th lord is in the 8th house.
No, it has to associate with the 8th lord somehow. Okay, it has to associate with the 8th lord. Okay, not the 8th house, the 8th lord.
Association of the 8th.
Yeah, it has to associate with the 8th lord. So if the sun associates with the 8th lord, okay, you'll have a very painless thought of that, you know, this, and you're gone. Okay, so that is the grace of the sun. Okay, the universal father, right? And then the 10th lord. Okay, the 10th lord is, as I said, it is your ability to finish work. So if the 10th lord is debiliated, okay, if the 10th lord is, you know, if is combust, you'll find it very, very difficult to, you know, to do things. Okay, you may be very, very energetic about something. All right, suppose you are an animal activist and you are very, very energetic about, say, saving elephants. But then when it comes to going to the jungle and saving the elephant, I don't want to go. Okay, I don't want to go. So that is how the 10th lord works. Okay, so combustion is.
I have a question about so you said the 8th lord and the sun need to associate. So if the 8th lord and the sun were in the same bhava, that would be an association?
Yes, it would be.
Okay, but what if, I have a question. What if, because we're talking about also combust and debilitated. So what if, so let's say in your case, the 8th lord and the sun are associated, like let's say they're in the same house. And then let's say, though it's combust, like that planet is combust. So it is associated.
It is
But it-
associated, but then it is combust. So that is a layer.
Yeah, because if it is in the same bhava, often, not always, but it often is combust. So
Yeah, but that is combustion is a curse from Shiva. Okay, combustion is a curse from Shiva. Now I have Sun, Jupiter, and Mercury in very close degrees, but none of them are combust. Okay, none of them are combust.
yeah. Well, we're not talking about you, but I want to know what happens in that case.
In that
Like-
case, what happens is that the death would be quick but painless. Okay, suppose the 8th lord is combust, you are anyways losing 25% of your longevity. Okay, so you are anyways you're anyways set up to die at around 65. The death would be quick, but it would be painless, right?
Quick means,
Quick means, suppose you are traveling somewhere, you're 65, you're traveling somewhere, you're fond of taking a road trip, and then boom, you crash into a car and die on the spot. Okay, you did not even know what pain was. That is how it works.
so, but you said that people can do things to mitigate this, right? That there's
Obviously there are ways to mitigate this. Now my spouse, her first lord is combust. Okay, so if I go by the standard rules, she'll not even live beyond 50. Okay, but obviously things are there which I will use to mitigate that.
okay. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Okay. And debilitated means that like it's
Debilitated, yeah, debilitated
That's
means the
in that
quality of the death will be very, very painful. Okay, debilitated means the death will be very, very painful,
no, yeah.
because the
No, no.
quality is hitting rock bottom in case of a debilitated planet.
Right, well, debilitation depends on the Rashi it's in.
Yeah, it does.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was the same language. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. We don't want bad things on anybody for sure.
Yeah, that is obviously the case. So I hope Udaji's question is clear. Okay, so that the 10th lord will go somewhere, and looking at the condition of the 10th lord, you can actually see how well you complete work. Okay. All right, any question more? I don't think so. Okay, so what happens is as I said, the dashas of the marakas, they need not necessarily cause death, but they will do something that you will be set up on the path of death. Okay, even if a maraka dasha does not cause death, it will do something that that will set you up on the path of death. Okay, and this is how prarabdha karma unfolds.
What does that mean? It'll set you up.
It'll set you up means, suppose my father was running his marak dasha, okay, way back in 2018, and we had gone for a marriage, and the groom, he was suffering from pox, and my father contracted the disease, and he suffered immensely for say 3 weeks. And now what has happened is that he has lost 50% of his ability to work. Obviously he can walk around, he can do things on his own, but the energy is gone, and that is gone forever. Okay, that is gone forever. So it is setting him up. Okay, it is setting him up. So marak dasha is a part of your prarabdha karma, of course. And what is prarabdha karma? We have 4 classifications of karma: sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma, and kriyamana karma. Okay, so prarabdha karma is the one which we are dealing with in Vedic astrology, and nature has given us this gift to understand how prarabdha karma works. Okay, so you will actually by intuition or by something, you will know that it is setting you up. Okay, for example, you are about to run the dasha of the 7th lord, and then just the day before, a car just comes and bangs into you. Okay, maybe you are driving somewhere, and from behind, a car just bangs into you. Okay, your car just may have got a simple scratch. You may have escaped unhurt, or what it means is that it is setting you up for something. Okay, so just look at these clues as to how nature is providing you clues. Okay, this is known as nimitta. Okay, the Sanskrit word for this is nimitta, omen, O-M-E-N, omen. All right. So it is not necessary that the time of death will always coincide with the with the dashas and antardashas of the marak houses. All right. Other planets can also assume the role. Okay, And to calculate death, what happens is that the 12th lord also becomes very, very important, because the 12th house is the house of, is the house of passing away. All right, 12th house is the loss of life. Okay. And planets associating with the 12th lord, okay, planets placed in the 12th house will also have a significant role to play in bringing bad health, because 12th house is also the house of hospitalization. Okay. And the default maraka is Saturn. Okay, that is the default maraka. All right. So the default maraka is Saturn. Mars, although although it is the most malefic planet, it will not torture you. Okay, it will not torture you. But Saturn and Rahu, they are sadistic planets. Okay, Saturn and Rahu, they are sadistic planets. They will torture you to a point that will not be able to leave your bed. You'll leave your shit on the bed. You have to urinate on the bed. You have to do everything on the bed. Saturn and Rahu, they are sadistic planets, and Saturn is the primary role of, it is the default mark for everyone. Okay. So, if Saturn Dasha or Mahadasha is operating, and you are getting the Antardasha of the second lord or the seventh lord or the 12th lord, it can be really, really painful. Okay. And the other point being, you can just test this out from charts. Suppose, 2 children are running Rahu Dasha, then it is confirmed that during the parallel dashas, the father of the native or the mother of the native will pass away. Okay, this will happen. Okay, if 2 girls are running, if 2 girl children are running Rahu Dasha, the mother passes away during that parallel running of the Dasha. If 2 boys are running Rahu Dasha, the father of the native will pass away. Okay, and similarly, when Saturn goes over Rahu, okay, when Saturn goes over Rahu, it is confirmed that you will be performing the last rites of some family member. Okay, test this out. If this has happened in your chart, in your life, just test this out. Every time Saturn goes over your Rahu in the same degrees or within 2 degrees of each other, it is a possibility that you have to do the last rites of one of your family members. Okay, it could be anyone. I don't necessarily mean parents. It could be anyone.
Sir, you mean the natal Rahu, or you mean a Rahu that is during
when transit
transit?
Saturn goes over natal Rahu. Okay, when transit Saturn goes over natal Rahu. Okay. Now calculating death. Okay, calculating death. We have a very easy way of doing it in Jaimini. I'm giving this out because I have to tell you how to calculate your own death. Okay, but don't take this as as the authoritative principle, because that depends on many factors.
Devarshi,
Yeah.
I have a question first. In this example of 2 children, like 2 female children in Rahu Dasha, and this will, cause the demise of the mother, or 2 male children for the father. Where is this from? Where are you getting this?
This is from Phaladipika. Okay, this is from Phaladipika. You just go through Phaladipika on the chapter of Marakas. I think it is the 16th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. So it is from there.
Okay, and then what if, I just want to ask an example, what if it is a boy and a girl?
Oh, in that case, nothing will happen. Okay, in that case, the universe has been really, really kind. Thank God for small mercies. So, you're safe in that case.
Okay, and then this thing of when transit Saturn goes over natal Rahu,
Right.
It's possible. It's not a of the last rites.
No. Everything is a possibility in astrology. Okay, every time the astrologer is saying something, it is only a possibility, because he is reading the samskara. The samskara is there. Whether the samskara translates into a karma, we don't know. We don't know.
So where is this? Is this from? Where did you get this from?
This is again from Phaladipika. Okay, death. Parashara does not describe death. If you look at the PPHS, Parashara only speaks about Marakas. He does not tell you how to calculate death. Neither he tells you about about anything much about the Marakas.
So in this case of the 2 female children and the 2 male, it's only a samskara, whether that would happen or not. And
Yeah,
the
it's
karma
a
is
samskara.
not.
It's a samskara. It's a samskara.
Okay, it's
Or the
not,
samskara.
it's not 100%.
Yes,
Okay.
because the entire horoscope is the samskara that you're having. Okay, so for example, suppose you go to an astrologer for your marriage and the astrologer tells you that you don't have any marriage, it means it's a samskara. You don't have the samskara for marriage. And whether the samskara becomes a karma or not, that is completely divine will. Okay, that is completely divine will. Okay, no one can time that. All right, no one can time that.
Sir, it is like, if 2 girl children are there in the family,
Right.
should be running the Rahu Dasha.
Yes, if both of them are running the Rahu Dasha, then the mother's life is at threat.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right. So how to calculate death? Okay. So Gemini gives the answer. All right. Gemini gives the answer. Gemini has a, as a lesson, or Gemini has a Upadesha Sutra, which speaks about Lilavati. Okay. Lilavati Khanna. Lilavati Khanna was the daughter-in-law of Varaha Mihira. Right. And Khanna, I think I had mentioned this in one class. Okay, Khanna means because she used to speak in very short sentences. Why? Because she was a very capable astrologer, and just to ensure that she does not supersede him, Varaha Mihira had put some burning coal blocks in her mouth. Okay, so she always used to stammer while speaking. Okay, so that is the reason her name is Khanna. Khan means stammering. All right. So Lilavati said that the 6th and the 11th lords from the sun, we know that the 6th lord is the, it is the most, it is the storage of your prarabdha karma. Okay. And the 11th lord is the highest evil. The 6th lord is the, most difficult lord to deal with in terms of Dushthanas. And the 11th lord is the most evil planet. Okay. So the 6th lord and the 11th lord from the sun. Okay. Not from the Lagna, from the sun. You take the 6th lord and the 11th lord from the sun and calculate the Navamsha Dasha. How to calculate the Navamsha Dasha? Just go to any Vedic astrology software, calculate the D9 Dasha from D9 Lagna. Okay. Sri Jyotish Star has it, Parashara's Light has it, and even this software by Narasimha Raoji, which is the, I've forgotten, yeah, Jagannath Hora, it has it. Okay. Just look at the Dasha from D9 Lagna. First, find out the 6th lord and the 11th lord from the sun in D1. And then look at its Dasha in the Navamsha. Okay. So that Navamsha Dasha will be a window where you can actually die. Okay. This is confirmed.
Sir, repeat once again.
Look at the 6th lord and the 11th lord from D1. Okay, there would be 2 planets from the sun. Okay, look at the 6th lord and the 11th lord from the sun in D1 and see the set the Dasha system from the from the Navamsha. Okay, set the Dasha system from the Navamsha. That means you would be option would be Dasha of the D9 Lagna. Okay, that is the option that you will put. And suppose my if I give you my example, okay, so the 6th lord and the 11th lord from my sun, it is Mars, both of them, it is the same planet. Okay, so I have to look at the Lagna, the Navamsha Dasha of Mars, okay, the Navamsha Dasha of Mars. So that period of Mars is very, very volatile for me. Okay, that period of Mars is very, very volatile for me. Okay, that is how you calculate death. Okay, you can look at your own charts, but don't take it too literally. Because what happens is that most astrologers don't teach you how to see death. Is because if you are doing consultations for yourself or for others, you'll just go and have out of a subconscious habit, you'll just see, let me see how how long the person looks. Okay, don't take this literally. It is just a way to calculate your death. Okay, there are lots of variations to it, but this is the primary technique.
What do you mean? Don't take this literally. Like, first you said this will be a very.
See, if you take it literally,
this will be a very volatile time. So, are you saying a time of? I guess it's important to clarify because you're using this word death. Like, you're saying it will be a very volatile time, but then
it will be a very volatile time.
That it is the concept of death as we know it, or is it a
No, it is the concept.
death-like
It is the death of the
experience?
body. It is the death of the body. It is
So
the death
you're
of the body.
so you're saying for you, you're saying that the Mars Mahadasha in the Vamsha is the time of your death.
Right.
Is that what,
Right.
regardless of the samskaras and if the karma is right?
Regardless of the samskaras, obviously there is a way to throw out that samskara of death. There is a way of doing it. Okay. For some people it automatically happens. You end up worshipping someone who has the who has the power to throw out the samskara, and you didn't die. Oh my God, I did not die. Obviously. Okay. But not only the Mahadasha, it could also be the Antardasha periods. Okay. The Antardasha of, suppose, I am running the Antardasha of Mars, the Navamsha Antardasha of Mars. Then also the period is very, very volatile. Okay.
So can you explain why you're changing this word to volatile? Like, is it volatile or is it your impending death?
No. Anything. See, there is the point being, I have dealt with people who did not have any samskara for marriage. I've still got them married. Okay. I've still got them married.
Okay.
I can vouch that. All right. I've dealt with people who were supposed to die. I've still managed to get them off the hook. Okay. I don't know how Yamraj will be looking at me. Okay. How Yamraj will be looking at me, but
Hey, Devarshi, sorry to actually interrupt. Okay, now since you have got this topic, no, yesterday we were actually discussing in the group about that subconscious and tantra, no. So, I mean, maybe we can touch upon it a little later, no, because this is the astrology.
this is
class.
obviously. See, as I've been telling you this repeatedly. Any placement, okay, any placement. Any good placement, any bad placement, you may have Jupiter in, say, Cancer, you may have Mars in Capricorn. That is still a dosha. Okay, that is still a dosh. Obviously many astrologers would say, oh my God, you have Jupiter in Cancer, you are very bhagyavan. But what is your bhagya? You don't know, right? Your bhagya may just to be see your parents die, see your children die. That is also bhagya. Right. So whatever it is, everything boils down to the subconscious. But when I speak about the subconscious, people will assume that it is the law of attraction. It's absolutely, it's not that way. It does not work that way. There are certain ways how the subconscious works. Okay. 95% of the human mind is subconscious. That is the only part that I agree with the law of attraction. Other than that, you can use this subconscious thing for astrology very beautifully. Okay. And once you start using it, then you can just throw all the remedies, everything out of the window and just focus on on getting your subconscious right. Things will still work. Okay. You may have a very bad dasha. For example, suppose people come to me saying that I have a wealth problem. Okay. I tell them that you may have a very bad dasha, but your flow of wealth should be constant, isn't it? And that is something that can be achieved by by using the subconscious. Okay, by using tantra, basically. All right. What is your lagna, sir? My lagna at Twinkle J is Capricorn. Sun is in the 6th house, so Mars becomes a double mark for me. Okay, but Mars has also given me a lot of things. Anyways, just give me a second. There is a power cut. All right, sorry for the interruption. Yeah. So when I say volatile, okay, when I say volatile, the point being, when you learn how to calculate death, you have a habit of looking at the chart of any of yourself or any loved one, and then let me see the longevity. Let me see the longevity. That is the problem. Okay. So some people will say that there is no way for astrologers to calculate death. That is not true. Okay, that is not true. But what is not true is when some astrologers claim that I can calculate death to the exact day, to the exact hour, to the exact minute. That does not happen. It's not possible. Unless and until, of course, you become a Varahamihira of sorts. Okay. But death should be predicted by domini gay. It should not be unless and until the person wants to know. Okay. So it should not be, because then a number of forces are set into motion. Okay. If that is predicted,
like have to see this Dasha of D9 Lagna.
you have to see the Dasha of D9 Lagna and then
Yeah.
see.
Can you show us, sir, please?
I'll give you an example. Okay. I don't have an example chart. So suppose, I'll just give you an example of my chart. So suppose I have a Capricorn Lagna with Surya in the 6th house. Okay. So look at 6th from Surya. It is Scorpio. That means Mars is the ruler. Again, the 11 from Surya is Aries. Again, Mars is the ruler. So now I'll just look at the Dasha from the D9 Lagna. Okay. And I look at Mars Dasha, the Mahadasha and the Mars Antardasha. Those periods will be very, very volatile for me. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And because
Okay.
it's Mars, it can also indicate a very violent death, maybe death by a weapon. Okay. Maybe death by an accident, maybe death in a bomb blast and things like that.
God forbid. Okay, we don't wish that upon you. We wish you a long life.
No.
I just want to, yeah.
That way.
I
I'm not saying that
wanna-
way. Anyways.
Well, exactly what way are you saying? Because I think it's very important, Devarshi, that now you're laughing and you get what I'm saying. To talk about this stuff, it also creates impressions and it also sets things into
Yeah,
motion.
that's what I said.
Yeah. So exactly why I'm having the courage to bring this up to you, that I think, you see everyone is sitting on the edge of their seat, like, how do we do this? And can you give an example? Like, it's like being in a horror movie or a thriller now.
Yeah.
And, you're sitting in the front row. So I think you have to be careful because of.
No, but the thing is
I
that if
think
you're
you-
learning,
yeah.
if you're learning something,
Yes, but you have to be careful about it can versus.
Yeah, that is the reason I use the word
No.
volatile. I'm not using the word certainty. Okay, I know that this is not going to be.
But you did use the word for death. It will calculate your death.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah, obviously.
backtrack that it will be volatile. So it's not clear. And I think you have
See,
to
the
be
thing is that
steady,
if any
steady.
astrologer worth his or her salt will say that,
Yeah, you like this expression,
your
and I'm
marriage
gonna-
will happen at this time and this age, it is not astrology. Okay, because astrology is all about, it's about three things. Okay, it's about the samskaras that you have. It's about the capability of the astrologer, and it is also about the the approach of the client. Okay, I've seen accidents being averted by remedies. A person who was, as I said, a person who was supposed to die a very violent death, and he did a remedy. Okay, there have been two situations. One was a remedy that he did just out of fear, and it clicked. Okay, the devta was worshipped and the devta protected him. And then there was a remedy which I had suggested, and the same thing happened. Protection was obtained. Okay, so although it's a very, we always say astrology is a predictive science. Okay, there is a reason why you use the word predictive. We don't only use it as science; it is a predictive science. Okay, and then there are certain things which will not be set into motion unless and until the astrologer is predicting it. Okay, for example, I may say something. Okay, I may say something that you will have this disease in this year. It might not happen, but some astrologer or some saint of high caliber is saying it. You will have it, because then that person, by his own spiritual capacity, is causing the samskara to become a karma.
Yeah. Okay. No kidding.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Be careful what you say. Yeah, and I'm just gonna jump on something right now.
Yeah.
You like that expression, any jyotish worth his salt. And you said it yesterday in the chat about this unfortunate person who passed. And I think that it is an unfair thing to say because you don't know someone else's suffering and
No,
what
see,
they're
the thing is that
devised.
there is
So
a
I want to finish to say that every person is worth their salt, whether they're able to navigate circumstances or not is a very personal thing, and we cannot judge them.
no,
for
no,
that.
no. Obviously, see, the
Yes,
thing is
yes,
that
yes.
when we have a lagna, right? We have a lagna, isn't it? You have a lagna. I have a lagna. Everyone has a lagna. Why do you have a lagna? You have a lagna because you have been given the power to discriminate. And what is the meaning of discrimination? It means judging. Okay, you judge something.
Or
I'm
not
saying-
judging, for that matter.
That is a
Yeah.
choice. Okay, that is a choice. But that is a choice.
Yeah,
That
everything is a
in it.
choice.
But
Yeah,
at the
everything
end
is
of- At the end of the day, you've been given a certain power. Okay, lagna is your greatest power, by the way. So you've been given a certain power. So it's up to you whether you should use that power or not. Okay. What I'm saying is that I am not when I said that no astrologer worth his salt would commit suicide or things like that. What I meant was that a person may be going through anything. Okay, a person may be going through anything. But if it would have been a common person, okay, a commoner who is, and I don't even know that whether the one who was making that comment, he was saying that genuinely, because that is a different topic.
doesn't matter. You have to know what you said genuinely. Forget
Yeah,
about
yeah.
what other people
Yeah,
say
that's what
genuinely.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So if someone is an astrologer, okay, and the astrologer has practiced for 20 years, all right, and then what happens is that whoever has taught him astrology, that person would have certainly given him a few things to change his own destiny first. Otherwise, you cannot call yourself an astrologer. Okay,
You
let's face it.
don't know the intimate details of a certain time period. I mean, you're acting like everything happens in a certain way with enough time. You just don't
Yeah,
know.
it does. That's what I'm saying. It does.
You just
It
don't
does.
know, though. You
It
cannot
does. If
say,
you cannot,
say
if
as you sit in
if you
your
cannot-
loft chair, you cannot say as you sit in your remote place, very separate from where someone else lives and what their reality is. Well, if they were a jyotish worth their salt, someone would have given them the remedy, or they would have known to ask. You just don't know at the speed and the rate and the intensity of which something comes that someone can turn on a dime and do it. You just don't know. You cannot say that.
The point being, Leah, the point being,
Leia,
every time, Laya, okay, every time,
Leia.
every time something happens, okay, every time something happens, you are still in, the universe is kind enough, or God, or whatever you call it, is still kind enough, okay, to give you at least 1% control over a certain thing.
It
Okay?
doesn't matter. It's not for us to say these things. You may be right. This is what my
No,
rabbi
that's
said.
what that's what
You know
I'm
I'm Jewish. You may be right, but it's not for you to say such things. I'm right about a lot of things, but it's not my right to say this about someone else's life.
I'm not saying about someone else's life. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just saying that that life is sacred. Okay, life is sacred. You may be you may be an astrologer, and when you become an astrologer, when you call yourself an astrologer, it becomes a very responsible position, because then you are doing certain things, or you're saying certain things to change people's destinies. And at the end of the day, if you cannot, if a doctor cannot cure himself, okay, if a doctor cannot cure himself, then obviously I'll still say he's not a doctor. Okay, I'll still say he's not a doctor. If a doctor cannot cure himself,
That's ridiculous. That's like saying a good hairdresser cannot be bald. It has nothing to do with that. You cannot make such a correlation that obliterates that. You cannot. You absolutely can.
well, a hairdresser can be bald if it is a choice for him or her to be bald. That is not the problem.
Yeah, this is way off topic, and you're out of your depth. That's not okay. I'm not accepting that. Absolutely. Full stop.
Anyways, let's continue with this.
That's like saying for you to see really clearly other people's lives, you can't wear glasses, and you wear glasses.
No,
but
I don't. I'm seeing it clearly.
here we are.
That's the reason. That's the reason I'm saying. Buddha was Buddha.
We
Buddha was
can
Buddha.
actually get into a deliberation at a later point. Maybe
Listen,
we can
I
just
am happy. I'm
stick
happy
to
that I'm
the
doing this
topic.
because I wanted to say this for a while. And
Oh, it's
Devarshi
fine. It's
is
fine. It's
laughing.
fine. It's absolutely fine. We all have our own opinions, and I am absolutely open with it. Not an issue. You can have your own opinion on things. It's not that, it's not that we have to come on a common ground. There will be disagreements. That is the reason why it makes us humans, isn't it? So when I say that, when I say that the end goal of yoga is immortality, no one will agree, right? What is he saying? Immortality? What is that? No one has even heard of it. Why? Because no one has told you that, isn't it? And I'll tell you about about this person I met on Facebook. He was knowing some Keralian system of healing. Okay, and I told him that I want to learn this. Okay, I want to learn this. And he said that, oh no, I am a siddha. Why do you want to learn this? You will make money from this. Of course I will make money from this. Why not? I will make money from this. I want to learn this. I will teach it. I'll teach it to someone else. So why not? Why not? So we all have our different. Does that make him a lesser person? It does not. And does that make me a lesser person for judging him? It does not. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Like, sir, I have one more doubt. I was not clear in this about this point.
Yeah.
Like, you have to see the 6th lord and 7th lord from sun in
Yeah.
D1.
6th lord and the 11th lord from sun.
Yeah. So suppose if 6th lord will be Venus and 11th lord will be Jupiter, if we consider, then how to see this in the D9? In the
D9, yeah, the Dasha of the D9.
Yeah.
Okay, the Dasha of the D9. So when are you running, the Dasha of Venus and Jupiter in the D9? That will be the, that will be the.
So because I would like to clarify here one point, sir. When I'm running the Dasha of Venus, was literally like to be frankly telling, I just want to share this. I literally committed suicide. So because now when you're telling, there is what to say, I can correlate it.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah. So
anyways, anyway, suicide is not the solution. Okay, suicide is not the solution.
I know that was like when I was like very young.
Yeah, but that is something that must be remembered. Okay, suicide is not the solution to anything. Okay,
so this will affect. So that is correlated.
Yeah. You almost passed out, isn't it? If you almost committed suicide, you almost passed out, right? You almost passed out. Yeah, that's how it works.
11th is Jupiter. So Jupiter Dasha or Antardasha is
it's going to be critical. Okay, it's going to be very, very volatile. So be careful. That is how it works. You can only be careful, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So they say by using KP they predict time of death. No, it is not true, Twinkleji. It's not true at all. No one can predict the time of death. Okay. Which group? Few people are talking about the jyotish discussion group. Don't think you are a part of it or you are a part of it, but maybe I can add you to it later on. Okay. All right. Now we come to the relationship of planets to various lagnas. As I said, it is, we classify planets as malefics and benefics with respect to the lagna. Okay. With respect to the lagna. So, we have to look at the relationship of planets. Okay. So let's see. Mesha lagna. Okay. Make a calculation in your mind. That will be very easier for you then. Okay. Mesha lagna, it does not have a yoga karaka. Okay. It does not have a yoga karaka. Sun and Jupiter are the highest benefics. Okay. Why? Because Sun is the 10th lord and Jupiter is the 9th lord. Okay. Mercury is the malefic because it is the 8th lord. It is also the 3rd lord. Venus.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I just needed to catch up. Are you saying you're just talking about Mesha right now?
Yeah, I'm just speaking about Mesha.
Okay. Could you just recap?
I'm saying that it does not have a yoga karaka. What is yoga karaka? It is a planet that rules a kendra and a trikona simultaneously. So Mesha lagna does not have a yoga karaka, but Sun becomes very, very important because it is the 10th lord. Jupiter also becomes very important because it is the 9th lord. Okay, and the point being, Mercury being it is the highest malefic for that lagna because it is the 8th lord and the 3rd lord. Venus and Saturn are also malefics. Okay, because Venus is the 7th lord and Saturn is the 11th lord. Okay, and Venus being the 7th lord and the 2nd lord, it is the maraka. Okay, and the other point being, if Jupiter is ill associated because Jupiter is the 9th lord, Okay, Jupiter is the 9th lord, but Jupiter is also the 12th lord for Mesha. But Jupiter is also the 12th lord for Mesha. Okay, so Jupiter can become a malefic planet if it is associated with, with the other malefics like Mercury, Venus, or Saturn. Okay.
So how is it the 10th lord for Mesha?
Oh, I'm sorry. Surya is the 5th lord. I'm really sorry. I got that wrong. Okay, Surya is the 5th lord. I really got that wrong. Okay, and Saturn is the 10th and the 11th lord, but because it is the 11th lord, it will be classified as a malefic. Okay, and Mars, although it rules the 8th house as well, but it becomes a benefic because it is the Lagna lord. Okay, then we come to the Taurus Lagna, which is Vrishabha.
All right, you said that Mercury was the 8th and 3rd lord.
No, Mercury is the 6th and the 3rd lord. Sorry, Mercury is the 6th and the 3rd lord.
Okay, you did say 8th. Okay.
Yeah, it was my mistake. I did say that Sun is the 10th lord as well, so it was my mistake.
Okay.
Anyways,
So now you're going back to Mars is what?
Mars is the 1st and the 8th lord. So Mars is the 1st and the 8th lord. So Mars will be it will be a benefic because it will behave more as the Lagna lord. The Lagna lord is always benefic. Remember this principle. Okay, the Lagna lord is always benefic, no matter whatever houses it rules. So Vrishabha, right? Vrishabha is the Vrishabha, the main benefic is Saturn because it is also the Yoga Karaka. Okay, and then malefic is Jupiter is malefic. Okay, Jupiter is malefic, and then you look at Vrishabha, Mercury is partially beneficial. Okay, and because Venus rules the rules the ascendant, so Venus is also it is also very, very benefic. Okay, and Mars is the Maraka. Okay, Mars is the Maraka. All right, then we come to Mithun. Okay, we come to Mithun.
So here Mars will be here 12th lord for Taurus, right?
Right, Mars will be the 12th lord, but look at Mars will be the 12th lord, but Mars is also the 7th lord, no?
So by 12th lord, it is like
12th lord is neutral. 12th lord is neutral.
Yeah.
But
So
it is
how
also
can...
assuming the role of Maraka by being the virtue of the 7th lord. Okay. Then Mithuna. So these are not these are not based on the natural malefic or the natural benefic abilities of the planets. These are very, very subject to the rising sign. Okay. For Mithuna, Venus is a very big benefic. Okay. Then if you look at Jupiter, okay, it is the lord of Kendras. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it is the lord of the Kendra, which is the 7th lord, but it is also the 10th lord. Okay, so Jupiter will behave as a benefic. Okay, it will behave as a conditional benefic, and Mercury Mercury being the Lagna lord is always benefic, but Saturn will give mixed results because Saturn is the 8th lord as well as the 9th lord. All right, and then comes the sign of Cancer, the ascendant of Cancer. Okay, so this people call this the luckiest ascendant.
So Mars for
Mars will be a malefic. Okay, look at Mercury. If you look at Mithuna, 3, 4, 5, 6,
11th lord
6th lord and the 11th lord, it will be a malefic. Okay, it will be a malefic.
Okay.
Right? You just make your own calculations.
Sun and moon, sir.
Sun, 3, 4, 5. Sun will be a sun will be a malefic, but it will not be a it will not be a Maraka. Okay, because as I said, Sun and Moon cannot assume the role of Sun and Moon cannot assume the role of Maraka. So it will be a malefic, of course. Even Jupiter will be a malefic because it is the 7th lord, but it will act as a conditional benefic because it also rules the 10th house. Okay. Then look at Kark Lagna. Mithuna Lagna has no Yoga Karaka because there is no planet simultaneously ruling the Kendra and the Trikon. Kark Lagna, Mars is the Yoga Karaka. Okay. Sun will act as a benefic or a malefic depending upon its association because Sun is the 12th lord. All right. Then Moon being the ascendant lord is always benefic. Jupiter is always benefic because it primarily because it it exalts in the sign of the ascendant lord. Okay. Saturn is the Maraka being the 8th lord. Okay. And Mercury and Venus are malefics. Okay. Then we come to the Leo Lagna.
Sorry, could you repeat the, so you said for Kark, there's no Yoga Karka.
There is Yoga Karaka. For Karaka, there is Yoga Karaka, which is
Oh,
Mars.
there is Yoga
There is
Karka,
Yoga Karaka. For Gemini, there is no Yoga Karaka.
which is Mars, so it's a benefic.
Yeah.
And then Sun can be a benefic or a malefic.
Sun can be a benefic or malefic depending upon its association, because it is the 12th lord. Okay. So if it associates with a natural malefic, it will behave as a malefic. If it associates with a benefic planet, it will behave as a benefic. Okay. So 12th lord is a very tricky subject. All right. It not only shows you your hospital expenditures, it also brings your marriage. Okay. How it brings your marriage, I'll discuss this in another topic.
And then you said Mercury and Jupiter were benefics, right?
Mercury, no. Mercury is a malefic. Mercury is a malefic. Jupiter is a benefic. Okay, Jupiter is a benefic. Although it is the 6th lord, it will still be benefic.
For Jupiter.
Yeah, Jupiter. Okay.
Mhm.
Then comes the Leo Lagna, the Simha Lagna. The Sun being the Lagna lord is benefic. Mars is benefic. Jupiter is benefic. Okay. Then Mercury, Venus, and Saturn are malefics. Okay. Saturn is again the Maraka. All right. And Mars is the Yoga Karaka for Simha Lagna. Okay. And again, the 12th lord moon being the 12th lord, it is, it will give results depending on its association. All right. Then we come to Virgo Lagna. It does not have any Yoga Karaka. Mercury and Venus are the biggest benefics. Okay. Mars, Jupiter, they are malefics. Okay.
So Mercury is the second lord.
Mercury is the second lord, but it is also it is for Kanya.
Yeah.
Kanya, Mercury is the first lord, no? Venus is the second lord.
Oh yeah, sorry. Venus is the second lord.
Venus is the second lord, but you look at Venus, it is also the 10th lord, no?
Okay, because of it is attaining the 10th lord.
Yeah, it becomes a benefit. Okay. It
So
is the
you
9th
said
lord, it is not the 10th lord, it is the 9th lord. Yeah, Leah?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Venus is the 9th lord. Venus is the 9th lord. Okay, so Mercury being the Lagna lord and the 10th lord is very, very benefic. Sun being the 12th lord, it will give results based on the association. Okay. And then comes the Tula Lagna. Okay, so Saturn is the highest benefic. Saturn is also the Yoga Karaka. Venus will be anyways benefic, but because Venus also rules the 8th house, so Venus is less benefic as compared to Saturn. Okay, Venus is benefic, but it is more of a neutral benefic. Okay, as compared to Saturn, which is the highest benefic. Okay, then Surya, Mars, and Jupiter, they are the malefics. Okay, Mars is the is the highest malefic. Okay, and then comes Vrishchik Lagna, the Lagna of Scorpio. You look at Moon and Jupiter, they are the highest benefics. Then comes Mars, being the Lagna lord, is benefic. Okay, Mercury, Venus, and Saturn, they are the malefics here, and it has no Yoga Karaka. All right, the Tula Lagna.
What about the Sun?
Sorry, the Sun. The Sun is a benefic. The Sun is a benefic, but it is it is because the Sun is the 10th lord and the Moon is the 9th lord. So obviously the Sun will be a benefic, including the Moon. Okay, including the Moon and Jupiter. Then comes Dhanu Lagna. So Sun and Mars will be very, very benefic, including Jupiter. Venus will be a malefic, okay, including Saturn. All right, and Sun being the 9th lord, Mercury being the 10th lord, Mercury is a conditional benefic. Okay, Mercury is a conditional benefic. Yeah. Then comes the the Capricorn ascendant. Saturn, Mercury, and Venus are the benefics. Okay, Moon being the 7th lord will it will not be a Marak, but it will be a malefic. Okay, Mars is the malefic because it is the 11th lord. Jupiter is the it is the highest malefic because it is the 3rd lord and the 12th lord. All right, Sun is the 8th lord, but Sun will be neutral because as I said, Sun and Moon cannot be Marak. So the Sun delegates this responsibility of being a Marak to to Jupiter. Okay, and Saturn being the lord of the Lagna is not a Marak. okay, because Saturn is also the second lord for Makara, or or Capricorn. Then Kumbha, Saturn in this case is neutral because it is also the 12th lord and the first lord. Okay, Venus is the Yoga Karaka. Then Moon, Mars and Jupiter are malefics for this lagna. Okay, Moon, Mars and Venus will be Moon, Mars and Jupiter will be benefic for this lagna. And Sun, Mars and Jupiter, Sun and Jupiter will be malefic. Okay, Sun and Jupiter.
Wait a minute. Could you repeat? So Moon, Mars, and Venus are benefics?
Moon, Mars, and Jupiter are benefic.
Okay, but then you said Sun and what is malefic?
Sun and Jupiter will behave as a conditional malefic. Sun, Mars, and Jupiter will behave as a conditional malefic. But as I said, based on their association, they will give benefic associations too.
Sorry, Devarshi, you're using Jupiter twice. You said first Moon, Mars, and Jupiter.
Yeah, I'm saying twice. I'm saying it twice. Moon, Mars, and Jupiter will be conditional benefic, and it will be conditional malefic as well. That's what I'm saying.
So Sun, Jupiter, and Mars are.
Sun is malefic. Sun is malefic. Okay, because Sun is the 7th lord, so Sun is malefic. Oh no, I'm sorry. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, Sun is the 7th lord, so Sun will be anyways malefic. Okay, Sun will be anyways malefic. But Moon is a conditional benefic. Mars and Jupiter are also conditional benefics. Okay, but Mars and Jupiter will also behave as conditional malefics depending on their association.
Okay. And what about Mercury?
Mercury is mediocre. Okay, Mercury, you can take it as mediocre. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, because Mercury is the 5th lord, but it is also the 8th lord, so it will behave as a mediocre. Okay, more as a neutral, because Mercury is the 5th and the 8th lord. Okay, and then you come to Pisces. So Jupiter, Moon, and Mars are the benefics. Okay, it does not have a Yoga Karaka. It does not have a Yoga Karaka. Then Venus and Saturn, they are malefics. Okay, including Mercury is a malefic. All right. Now Mercury, Venus, and Saturn are malefics. Okay.
Can you just go over a Yoga Karaka is a Kendra and a
Yoga
Trikona?
Karaka is the graha that rules the Kendra and the Trikona together.
Both. So like Capricorn could be a Yoga.
Yeah. Yeah. Suppose for Capricorn Lagna, Venus is the 5th lord, which is the lord of a Trikona, and the 10th lord, which is the lord of a Kendra. So Venus becomes the Yoga Karaka. Okay. All right. Now, how to look as to how a planet will behave if it rules a benefic house and a malefic house simultaneously. Okay. For example, in case of Aquarius Lagna, Mercury rules the 5th house and the 8th house. So how to see or how to determine whether Mercury will be benefic or malefic? You cannot leave that to chance, isn't it? Okay. So consider Mercury, it is the 5th lord and the 8th lord. So it rules a even odd sign and an even sign. So if Mercury is placed in an even house, okay, just take this example of, again, repeating it. For Kumbha Lagna, Mercury is the 5th lord. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, Mercury is the 5th lord and the 8th lord. So suppose Mercury is sitting in the, Mercury rules a odd house, which is the 5th house, and the even house, which is the 8th house. So suppose Mercury is sitting in the 10th house. Okay, so the 10th house is an even house. So it will behave as the 8th lord in that case. But suppose Mercury is sitting in the 1st house, then it will behave as the 5th lord because it is, it is ruling the 5th house.
So you're saying that if Mercury for the 5th and 8th house, if it's sitting in an even house, that planet, it will behave as
the even lord, the 8th lord.
Even lord for the whole chart?
Yeah, for the whole chart.
And if it's placed in an odd house, it will.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say? I said again taking the example. Just a minute. Let me get it clear. So for Kumbha Lagna, Mercury rules the 5th house and the 8th house. Okay. So the 5th house is the odd house and the 8th house is the even house.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if Mercury is sitting in an even
Even.
sign, not an even house, in an even sign. Okay, in an even sign. Suppose it is sitting in the sign of Leo, which is suppose it is sitting in the sign of Capricorn, which is even, isn't it? Then,
Well, yeah.
suppose it is, then now don't look at the house, just look at the sign. Suppose it is sitting in the sign of Capricorn, which is even, then it will behave as the 5th lord. Okay, and if it is sitting in an odd sign, okay, if it is sitting in an odd sign, then it will behave as the 8th lord.
So it's just the opposite. So you're saying
it is the opposite.
if for Aquarius
Hmm.
that there's Mercury in the 5th and 8th house, if Mercury is placed in an even sign like Capricorn,
Hmm.
it will behave
As
like
the 5th lord.
the 5th as the odd lord.
Right, right.
It's the odd lord. And
Right.
if Mercury, let me finish, is placed in a odd sign, it will behave as the 8th lord for the whole chart.
Right.
Take it.
Right. Okay, so that is, that is how death is calculated. Okay, that is how planets behave as, behave as malefics and benefics for certain lagnas. So in the next class, we'll be looking at other adverse factors that can, that can cause a lot of problems. And then we will take a deep dive into houses and their significations, and also the planets and what they imply. Okay.
So in this case, like if we continue with Mercury, if Mercury was placed in Aquarius,
Hmm.
which is an odd sign,
Right.
and if it was both Saturn ruled, okay, so if it was placed in Aquarius and it was in a, it was in a even house. One second, let me say it. If it was, if it was, let's see. So Mercury, so we're saying Mercury is still in the 5th and 8th house. If it was placed in an odd sign, it would be used as the 8th house ruler.
Right.
And if it's placed in an even sign, it'll behave as the 5th house ruler.
Right. Right. Okay, and this concept actually comes from Tajik Jyotish. Okay, BPHS does not have this concept. It comes from Tajik Jyotish. Tajik Jyotish is a style of astrology which came from Tajikistan. All right. When the when the Islamic invasions happened in India, a few of the people, they took Vedic astrology to as far as Tajikistan, and they used their own calculations, and we have a style of Jyotish which is known as Tajik Jyotish. It is very popular in India. There are Jyotishis who predict on the basis of Tajik Jyotish alone. Okay, so this concept actually comes from Tajik Jyotish, right?
Let me also get little clarification here.
Yeah.
If Mercury is sitting in the even sign, say for Aquarius, Capricorn will be the 12th house.
Hmm.
So if it is sitting in Capricorn, it will behave as the fifth lord.
Yeah, it'll behave as the 5th lord.
5th lord.
Yeah.
And if it's sitting in the 11th house, like odd sign, say Sagittarius,
right, it will behave as the 8th lord.
It will behave as the 8th lord.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right, then I'll see you in the next week, and thank you so much for joining in. Should you have any questions, you can post them on the group, of course, and the recordings should be available either by tonight or by tomorrow.
Devarshi Ji, I had one question.
Yeah.
When you were talking in lesson 7 about the aspects, is that from, 4 and 8 is the glance is 75%, 5 and 9 is 50%,
Right.
3 and 10 is 25%.
That is from BPHS.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay, then. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, so you talk about maybe I'll have to formulate it, but what do you do when I guess I'm trying to prioritize. Maybe I'll have to work on my question, but prioritizing, you have a, let's see, in this lesson, like you have a planet that, let me just see if I can go over a note that you wrote. Okay, I'll just,
Not an issue. We can answer this in the group as well, or you can ask it to me in the next class. Not a problem. You
yeah,
take your time. Not a problem.
thank you.
All right then. Thank you everyone for joining in, and hopefully I'll see all of you next Sunday as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.